Hi everyone, my name is Belén and I'll be presenting a paper written by Nelya, Martine, Andrea, John and myself. The title is My Perfect Platform Would Be Telepathy, Reimagining the Design of Social Media with Autistic Adults. We asked two research questions. The first one was how suitable are social media platforms for autistic adults socializing preferences and needs? And the important bit in this research question was social media platforms. That's one of the things that sets this work apart from previous research. There are already some studies about how autistic adults use social media, but those studies focused on the effect of social media use in autistic adults' social relationships. The assumption was that autistic adults' social lives are somehow unsatisfactory or limited, and they wondered whether social media use could in some way improve or expand those social lives. The subject of the study was therefore autistic adults. We, on the other hand, we weren't that interested in autistic social lives. Our subject of study was the social media platforms themselves and how they are designed. Our work also used different methods. While this prior research relied on surveys, interviews, and participant observation, our research used participatory design methods. Our second research question was what can we learn from autistic sociality about the design of social media platforms? And the important bit here is autistic sociality. Our work was a collaboration between linguistics scholars and human-computer interaction people, and much of what we did is grounded on concepts and theories borrowed from linguistics. Autistic sociality is one of them, and it is defined as one between many possibilities for social coordination with others. One between equals, as meaningful and as significant as my own neurotypical ways of social coordination. We used autistic sociality as a lens for critically assessing the design of mainstream social media platforms. Our participatory design process had 3 phases, each of which was matched to a participatory activity. There was a descriptive phase, where participants were invited to describe their own social media practices. There was a reflective phase, where participants were encouraged to think critically about those practices and the platforms that mediate them. And finally, there was a making phase, where participants were invited to reimagine those platforms. All activities took place remotely. Not because of COVID, but because this was our participants' preferred mode of interaction. This, we think, poses some interesting questions for participatory design. Our activities have traditionally relied on collocated settings where often groups of strangers come together to collaborate on some unusual activity. Autistic adults find such circumstances uncomfortable and challenging, and if we want to engage them in meaningful and productive ways through participatory design, we will need to revisit some of our practices and our assumptions. We designed custom materials for each of the activities. Those materials had 2 instantiations, a digital one that lived on a web-based whiteboard, and a physical one which was printed on cardboard and posted to participants' homes. Our analysis uncovered 7 interaction challenges or frustrations that our participants experience when using social media. And our participants designed 38 new social media features during our making activity. The bulk of the 38 features addressed one or more of the interaction challenges. The making activity asked participants to design a brand new social media platform, one created by autistic designers for the whole world to use. To support their efforts, we gave them a set of design cards. In what follows, I'll show you some examples of our participants' imagined features and how they addressed a particular challenge. We'll start with the underserved interest-led sociality. This is about autistic people being interested in connecting with others on the basis of common subjects of interest. Mainstream social media platforms do not provide much support for this interest-led approach to sociality. One of our participants addressed this limitation by suggesting an interest-based people search. You could type a subject you're interested in and get connection suggestions for people who are also interested in that subject. The next challenge was expressing emotional intent. The main tool provided by social media platforms today to express emotional intent is emojis. But emojis did not work well for some of our participants for two reasons. First, because their meaning is contextual. The same emoji can mean different things depending on the content and the exchange within which the emoji appears. And second, because emojis rely on stylized representations of facial expressions, and facial expressions were hard to interpret for some participants, and their stylized versions didn't help either. To tackle this second problem, one of our participants wanted to be able to customize their emojis, replacing them with visual representations of emotion that were more meaningful to them. Another challenge with social media for our participants was sensory overload. The amount, speed, and nature of the content presented in social media made participants feel overwhelmed and even anxious sometimes. To deal with this matter, one of our participants proposed a feature called Activate Stillness. This was a mode for your content feed that you could activate and disable at will. When you activated stillness, your feed would remove all sounds and moving images, leaving only static images and text, and this would provide a calmer and quieter content experience. Another challenge was audience uncertainty. Participants were a bit nervous about the permanence of their social media content and about being unable to identify who consumed and interacted with the content they posted. To tackle this challenge, one participant suggested a delete after time interval feature. This would allow you to set a period of time after which all your content would be automatically deleted from the social media platform, and that would help manage the anxiety of having years and years of social media history all over the internet. The last challenge I will talk about is conveying and interpreting meaning. Participants struggled to express what they wanted to say on social media and to interpret what was meant by others. To deal with this, one participant came up with an audio preview. This feature would read aloud your posts before you send them so that you can check that they sound in the way you meant them. The audio preview would allow this participant to post more confidently and alleviate the hard work of writing social media posts. The work of our participants suggested 6 design recommendations, which we explain in the paper. But most importantly, our participants showed us that we have much to learn from the tolerant and content-focused nature of autistic sociality. That's it from us. Thanks for listening.